everyone, I am looking forward to telling you all about our autumn knit along for this year called the Meabh Sweater. So this sweater is all about brioche. So if you haven't done brioche before, do not worry. It's single color brioche, so it's a nice way to jump in and get started with brioche. I really like brioche because it creates this really thick, squishy, bouncy fabric that it's kind of fun to knit when you get into the rhythm of it, and it's really nice to wear when the weather gets cooler. So there's something interesting about this sweater as well, and you may not have come across it before. It not only is worked in brioche, but it uses a shoulder construction type called a contiguous shoulder. And what that does is you knit it top down, and you initially start increasing really quickly across the shoulders to create the width of the shoulders. And then after that, you take the stitches in the middle and you start increasing for the sleeves. So there's no short rows, it's all done with increases, but you're moving back and forth between shoulder or body increases, sleeve increases, and then eventually a few little increases at the underarm again. So it's interesting to work if you have done brioche before and would like to combine it with something new. I don't think I've come across a brioche contiguous shoulder before, so it did take a little bit of trial and error because the increase rate with brioche is quite different because the amount of rows you have for the stitches is really different to the ratio of anything else. So that did mean that there was, I just took a little bit to work through, but I'm very happy with the finished sweater. Almost finished, it's still got the last little bit down here. But if you haven't started brioche before, you might be wondering if you can manage this sweater. And the answer is, with a little bit of preparation beforehand, you absolutely can. So all you need to do between now and when the knit along starts is just learn the basics of brioche. And we've actually got a course, a free course that does that, known just Brioche Basics. You can find the link down below where it'll show you how to do the basic brioche knit stitch, the slip one yarn over, and some basic increases and decreases, which will all be used in this sweater. So once you've mastered those, you can quite confidently go on and do everything else that's involved in this sweater. So there are the techniques and the construction, and the next thing you're going to want to know about is the yarn. So there are a couple of different yarn options that we've put together for this. We have put some kits on our website, and we've got two yarn options. The first one is Blosta, which the sample is knit on, which is a woolen spun heavy DK yarn that blooms really nicely and is very light when it's being worn. And we've also got the one that I'm wearing here. It's a Nua worsted, and it's a worsted spun yarn, so it's a little heavier, a little denser, but a smoother stitch. And it does mean that it's going to be a little bit softer next to the skin, but you have to be careful that it doesn't stretch out too much. But both work really well for the pattern. It just gives slightly different end effects, so you can decide which you prefer and which one you're going to get the most use out of. If you want to take a look at yarn in your stash, in the pattern you'll get the approximate yardage you'll need for each size. You can just check to see if you have the right yarn weight in the appropriate quantities that you need for it, or it'll also give you the tools you need to go find a similar yarn in a local yarn shop if you want to go down that route. So lots of different ways of getting started with the yarn and figuring out which yarn you're going to use. So if you haven't done a knit along with us before, what you'll get when you purchase, first of all, is an information PDF, and that's going to have all of the sizing information, the yarn information, the gauge information, and the schematic. So that allows you to get started with the swatching and then picking the size that you want to knit with. We'll also have yarn kits up, which you can go ahead and pick your yarn kit or shop from stash, but all of that information will be in the PDF. Then each one of our clues comes out every couple of weeks starting from the middle of September. There'll be 3 different clues, and when the clue comes out, you'll also get access to the next section of the video workshop. So what I didn't mention is when you sign up, you're also enrolled in the teachable video workshops, which are going to give you an overview to get started, and then every part of the pattern is going to be detailed in videos as you work your way through them. So that's the basic overview of how the knit along works. We've also got a huge amount of support in KnitHub, so you get access to that community where you can jump in and chat with fellow knitters and support each other as you go along. If you are not on our newsletter already, then you'll find the link down below, and then you will be the first person to know all about the knit along. If you are in the knit along and you are just waiting with bated breath as to when it comes out, 14th of August is when the information PDF comes out and all of the details for the knit along comes out. So looking forward to seeing you then, and we want to get started knitting with you this autumn.